What's up, guys? HMB Live here on Facebook Live. Turn your volume up. If you're watching this, turn your volume up so you can see it when you're scrolling through. Turn your volume up. Cool. All right, Facebook Live, HMB Live. I'm Jason Balin. This is Chris Haddon. We're going to get rid of that logo so you get a clear view of both of us on here. So, got a good little setup here today. We are going to talk about, we have a bunch of live questions that came in pretty much this week, and we're going to go through them. Most of these questions have to do with real estate, but if you've ever watched this show or heard this show before, we talk real estate, we talk business, we talk marketing, we talk finance. The joke is we're either going to talk to each other about it on camera, or we're going to get off camera and go into one another's office and just talk about this stuff anyways. So we might as well kind of have a live look in of exactly some of the things we talk about anyways.
Very true. This is what we talked about. Also, for people out there, we're checking our Facebook page throughout the week on different kinds of videos and everything else. So wherever you happen to comment, we'll try to find it and address it on the next show. So that can be here, that can be on another video or a post or whatever it may be. We're looking for your questions. Happy to answer them. So feel free.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, what I'll do is let me get this link. Oops, that is the link to an edit to a property that I almost just commented on here. If this is the first time you've ever been on this show, it's an open mic forum. We do have topics. In this case, we have questions that we're going to answer that came in earlier this week that we have we put together. We don't really. Well, we're going to answer these questions kind of on the fly because we haven't really prepped for them. But that being said, any questions that you have along the way, feel free to comment in the box. Or if you want to be on the show, you can actually, I'm going to comment right now. If you want to be on the show, you can actually click that link on any Google Chrome browser, and you could jump on the show as well. So that's the link right there. Or just comment below. Happy to answer your question. Again, business, finance, real estate, marketing. We do this show every Tuesday at 11 a.m. East Coast time. All right. So first question that came in earlier this week is from Roger. Hey, can you see that on your? Oh, here we go. Okay, from Roger. So I wasn't able to put the whole question up here. So this is what his full question was. I did a few flips last year and made decent money on all of them. Eventually, I'd like to quit my job and do this full time. How do you know when is the right time to make the move? You want to jump in on that one, or you want me to?
Yeah, I'll start. A couple of comments on that. I mean, one, there are a lot of factors when you're talking about that. We didn't get the full detail. I mean, in that amount of a Facebook question, like, what kind of income he's looking to replace, what the profit was on those deals that he mentioned that he's gotten started out with. But long story short, to give a good and smart answer, I would say to wait for a while, especially if those were his first three deals. I would get a lot more under your belt and have a consistent thing going on, feel comfortable with the market, and just take your time. Maybe do another year of transactions. Maybe, step it up to, if it's this year, like 4 or 5 or 6, and really weigh how necessary that salary is from the job versus how comfortable you are with your real estate operation. And don't make the move too soon. Real estate's not going away. You don't have to.
Yeah. I mean, figure out what your end goal is. Do you want to be a full-time real estate investor, or do you like the current job that you're in? I mean, a lot of people get into real estate because they think, and sometimes this is the truth, that you get some financial freedom, you're doing something what you like. Well, being a full-time real estate investor is hard. And, it doesn't work on autopilot. It has to be done correctly. There's a lot of risks. It's not for everybody. And keep this in mind. This is something that's important that I think a lot of people lose focus on. The financial outcome is the important part. We save money to invest in assets, in retirements, to pay, hopefully support our kids in the future, things like that. So it doesn't matter where that money's coming from. It could be as a full-time real estate investor. It could be at your current W-2 job, or wherever you currently work, your current business. Maybe you run another type of business. It doesn't matter where that's coming from. Whatever you enjoy doing, whatever that money's coming from, you can use that money. And the goal of that money is to invest in assets. And listen, there's nothing wrong with having your full-time job making whatever money that you make, and then doing a flip here and there, buying a rental property here and there on the side, and making some additional money, additional cash flow from that. And one last thing related to this that a lot of people don't realize too is there's a huge difference between doing a few flips here and there and being a full-time real estate investor and relying on doing lots of deals on a regular basis. You're spending time on different things every day when you have to do 10, 20 deals a year in order to be financially where you want to be. So just think about that as well. You're working on completely different things. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any follow-ups on that, Roger, feel free to comment below, and we will jump in on that. All right, next question. And as we're kind of talking, any questions that you have, feel free to comment below and ask your question. I'll just put that on the screen as well. Ask any questions you have for business, real estate, marketing, and finance. And if you want to be on the show, there's a comment as well related. There's a link below as well in the comment section that you can click on. Cool. All right. So next question. I've been a real estate agent for almost 10 years, and I'd like to get started in investing in real estate. What would you recommend for my first deal? A flip, a rental? And then she wrote, thanks, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. You want to jump in on this one too for Shannon?
You know, that is one thing that I'd like to see and that we do recommend to a lot of people in our community is that real estate agents also get involved in investing. It's a side of real estate, a big side of it. Owning real estate is a big part of the whole thing that oftentimes agents kind of just gloss over and say, oh, that's not what I do. And for some of them, that may be true. But for a lot of them and a lot of clients of ours at HMB, they are agents/investors. And I think there's a lot of pros. There's a lot of positive things to having that mix going on in your business life. Agents come in with a good amount of knowledge about certain things, not so much about others. You know, they might not be construction experts, but like they really know transactions and finance and everything else. I would say, like for a first deal, I would say probably buy a rental. I think I would say buy a rental, do some work to it, rent it out, get comfortable with that whole thing, managing it, and start there. Maybe you can do more rentals. Maybe you want to jump into flips too, but I don't think there's anything wrong with starting out with a buy and hold property.
Yeah, so I get this question a lot because I talk to a lot of investors every day, and the answer is it depends on your resources that you have that you're working with. And when I say resources, I mean, do you have money to contribute to this? Because if you don't have any money, you can't really buy rentals and you can't really buy a flip property. You can potentially buy a wholesale deal. Do you have good credit? Do you have time? You got to figure out a self-assessment of the resources you have available to determine what works best for you and whatever your end goal is. Wholesale, the barrier to wholesaling, to entry to wholesaling is not, it's doable. You need a little bit of money for a deposit. The problem with wholesaling is you truly need to go buy a good deal, right? You need to, wholesalers don't need money, but they need time. Buy a good enough deal that they can make a spread on that and still sell it to an investor who's going to be able to flip that property, right? On the other side, a flip, maybe you don't need as much time up front to find the deal, but you do need money to put into it.
True.
Rental, it's a little bit of both. With rental, you pretty much need good credit if you're going to be able to refinance it with a bank and things like that. So you got to first do a self-assessment. Secondly, you got to figure out what your goal is with it, and then kind of work backwards. I mean, there's money to be made in all different ways, and all of them are good business models. Real estate in general is a great business model. So it doesn't matter which direction you go in, but there's no point to go out and put properties under contract to try to flip when you don't really have the resources or the means to do that. And just because you don't have your own money doesn't mean you can't go raise money or get someone else to partner with or put up money. But just be true and honest to yourself before you do that. But like Chris said earlier, yeah, as a real estate agent, it's a no-brainer to also be an investor. Missing out on the boat if you're not. There's just so many other opportunities out there. So good question, Shannon. Any questions that you have, feel free to ask any questions related to business, real estate, marketing, and finance. If you want to be on the show, all you got to do is click this link in the comments section and we'll jump in there. So any questions? We got a few more that came in this week that we are going to go through. Okay, let's see. James. So James asked the question, I have money to start investing, but I'm not really sure how to find a good deal. I look on MLS regularly, but I can't win any bids. It seems to be pretty competitive. So yeah, it's a good question, James. And it's funny because I feel like a lot of people out there think that it's the opposite. I've got good deals, but I can't find the money. And that's actually a question that comes up in a second. But in this case, you do feel like you do have the financial backing for it. You just don't know how to find good deals. And again, deals don't, just fall from the air. It's hard work. And right now we're in a competitive market, and it's hard to get MLS deals at the numbers that you want. So luckily you're not just jumping into deals and throwing money at a deal just to do it. But, again, it depends on the outcome and the goal of what you're trying to accomplish. If you have time, you have money, right? So you have the first thing. So typically in real estate, you need money, you need resources or time, or experience, and then you also need a deal. So in this case, you have the money, which is good. Do you want to spend the time on marketing for a deal, on finding a good deal? MLS is only a segment of where deals come from. Right now, probably 10% of deals are coming from MLS, good ones. So you need to go spend time marketing. You either need to go network with wholesalers, you need to go do direct marketing to homeowners, whatever the case is, you need to market for deals. If that's something that you want to do and that's something you're interested in doing, that's probably where you need to spend the most time right now. If you don't really have an interest on that, maybe the best thing for you is partner with somebody that has a good deal. Partnering is a whole separate topic, a separate discussion. We can go into it at a later date. But if you have money and you want to be more passive, maybe partnering on somebody, you putting up the cash, someone else doing the heavy lifting could be a better option for you. So I would say two things: either go market and spend your heavy lifting time on trying to find your own opportunities, or find someone who already has an opportunity and partner with them.
Yeah, definitely agree with a lot of that. Two quick comments to add on. One, I don't think James said if he was looking to do flips or rentals. I'm assuming he was looking for flips, but yeah, it is possible to buy rentals on MLS. You're gonna have more opportunity there. It's not easy; those are going to be competitive too, but that's something to consider as well. And then also, when Jason was talking about marketing in general, I would say pick one type of marketing, whether it's going to be networking with wholesalers or doing direct mail, whatever it may be to start out. Pick one and get good at it. And then you can add other stuff to your game later on to find deals. But I definitely see, especially newer people that we talk to at the meetup group and everything else, they'll just dabble like a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there. And you need to go deeper into any marketing strategy in order to really get there. Like if you make 3 offers on MLS, well, that's not enough. You need to make 100, and then you'll learn how it works in the process and probably get something out of it. Same with mail. Like you can't just drop one mail, spend a couple $100 and then be like, oh, I didn't get a deal. And unfortunately, that's what many people do. I think you need to go deeper with any one of those strategies.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do real estate in general unless you really devote a lot of time and energy into it. It's just not, you're not just going to be able to go kind of down one path and just be successful. It's just not going to happen. Okay. So Liam actually asked a pretty good question. I am a full-time investor and realtor, and I do about 6 deals per year. Every time we start to grow, we run into more challenges. Any recommendations to help me do more deals? So that is a very, very, very common problem that a lot of real estate investors have. Like we kind of said earlier in the show, the difference between doing a few deals a year and a few dozen deals a year, it's a completely different business model, and it's completely different things that you're doing on a regular basis. You can't micromanage each individual project. You need to spend time on training staff, setting up higher level marketing campaigns, things like that in order to keep the machine running. So that happens a lot. I mean, that's happened to us on projects. We were very successful on, flipping a property here, flipping a property there, and then just based on what Chris and the two of our interest level is, we wanted to be a little bit more hands off in it, and we didn't want to get down and dirty. We weren't interested in that side of the business. So it's a completely different model. So first off, I would argue that there's a lot of investors out there that if 6 is their sweet spot, as soon as they move to do, let's say 8 or 10 deals, my guess is their net income is probably the exact same. It ends up being the exact same because they're trying to do more. They're buying deals with smaller margins in it. They're putting additional resources to it, maybe a different staff, payroll, stuff like that. They're taking on more overhead in order to ramp up, and then their net income ends up being the same. So you got to understand that kind of that component of it. But first, figure out why you want to do more deals. Okay, well, I want to make more money. No problem. Okay, well, let's figure out kind of what your actual deal looks like, and kind of work backwards and figure out exactly kind of what you want out of this, and then make it work. But I will tell you that 6 deals is a really good sweet spot for a lot of investors. And as soon as they start doing a little bit more than that, there's a lot more challenges that come in.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that because we see it a lot with HMB clients and in the portfolio and everything that I totally agree that before you go to do more deals, I would take a very, very hard look at how solid your deals are now. Because if you're not netting what you want to net per property and your answer is to just do more properties, that's a big mistake and a very common one, because what happens is if your process and systems aren't dialed in on one deal, then if you do 3 times that, they're going to be worse. Your net's going to go down. And like Jason said, you can go from 6 deals to 10, make the same amount because you're doing each transaction. You're not executing as well as you would on fewer. So I would take a very, very hard look at your deals, what you can improve on each one. We always recommend that people do a before and after, a profit and loss sort of thing. To see how you planned a transaction would go and how it actually played out. And once you get that net number dialed in, like if you want to make, I don't know, say 50K per property, and you're consistently hitting that, then I would consider growing your volume of deals, a higher number of deals. But honestly, yeah, we see it all the time that people start doing more deals worse and end up in the same spot or maybe even a bad position. So yeah, I would focus on quality first and then move into quantity.
Yeah, exactly. And one thing to kind of add to that is make sure you're always marketing for new deals and you're always looking for new deals. It's, you have to have the self-discipline if you're not ready to do that, those extra few deals, not to do them. But at the same time, like, you're in a good spot. We've always been big advocates of market. There's nothing wrong with turning down a good deal just because you can't handle it. But the other side of it is what happens if you run out of good deals and then you got to take on a bad deal. So make sure you're always marketing, and that's kind of a good way to get everything kind of ramped up. Cool. Well, it looks like we got about one more question, so we're going to answer that in a second. But if you have any questions that you want us to answer, feel free. I actually have somebody texting me that has a question, and I'm telling them to put it up on here. Come on, log in and do it, or come on the show if you want. So any questions that you have related to business, real estate, marketing, and finance, jump in on these. We actually, if you have any questions you don't want to do on the show, you can ask them throughout the week, and we're happy to answer them as well. And if you want to be on the show, we're going to be going for another like 5 or 10 minutes. You can click that link if you actually want to show your face and ask your question. That way we can do it as well. So, okay, this other question, which is similar, it's kind of the opposite of a question that we already had. It's from Pam. I have plenty of deals, but don't have the money to buy them. Okay, so pretty broad, but I get that question a lot too, and I know the easy answer to them. Well, a few things. Number one, all good deals figure out a way to get money out of them. It's just that simple. Any good deal that's out there, a real good deal. Maybe your deals aren't that good. I mean, I'm not saying they're not, but any good deal, a few different ways. You can wholesale to somebody, super simple. And you may say, well, I don't want to wholesale. I want to keep it all the money. Okay, well, if you have the means and you have the ability to do the whole deal yourself, flip the whole property yourself, great. But sometimes you may not. Wholesale is number one, really easy means. Number two, at Hard Money Bankers, I couldn't tell you the last time we had a really good opportunity or a really good deal that someone presented to us that was a good buy that A, we didn't fund, or B, maybe it wasn't a good fit for us that we weren't able to help them figure out a way to extract money out of it. It's that simple. Any good deal, the deal comes first, the money comes second. That's the formula. Don't start going to raise capital if you don't have deals in order to use that capital for. All good deals figure out a way to get money. So the first thing is let's assess if they're good deals or not, Pam, right? And the easiest way to do that is let's go to a meetup group. We do a meetup group, hardmoneybankers.com/meetup group. Go to any RIA group, go to any meetup group, go talk to any real estate investor you know that's doing a deal and show them that. Sorry about that. All right, sorry about that. We just got cut off line. All right. So I don't know how far through that question I got, but go to any meetup group, go to any RIA group. Oh, now that we came on the screen, we're on opposite sides.
New software.
We're switched. Boop, boop. All right. So anyways, any meetup group, any RIA group, anyone who you know that's doing deals, run that deal by them and ask them if they think it's a good deal. If they all think it's a good deal, well, guess what? You have the backup plan of selling it to them as a wholesale deal. And then you can figure out some means and resources to try to buy it yourself if you want to flip it.
Yeah. One comment to add on top of that, I would say just like Jason said, go into a local RIA or meetup group and asking experienced people in your neighborhood is a good way to really get to the bottom. A lot of people might think that a deal is better than it is. Very, very common thing. And then also I would consider, even if like the next meeting that you might go to is not a month away or a few weeks away and you have something going on, there's a pretty good chance that you can find bandit signs in your neighborhood, and also pretty good chance that the people who put out those bandit signs marketing for deals consistently know what they're doing. So give them a call, run it by them, just in case you need to do it quicker than waiting for the next meeting.
Exactly. Yeah, all good points. So I think that was about 4 or 5 questions. 5 questions that we answered throughout the week. Any questions that you have in the future? We do this show. We try to do this show. We pretty much do every Tuesday at 11 a.m. The show is important to us. It's a good way to engage with everybody in the Hard Money Bankers community. It's called HMB Live. We do it on Facebook Live. If you're not currently using Facebook inside your business, you should. It's so important. Dang, this thing keeps freezing. The only hiccup on this piece of software, Be Live, that we use is you need pretty fast internet connection. And when everyone in our office is on the internet at the same time, including me and Chris next to each other, sometimes it's a little bit slow. If you need any marketing advice or you need a local marketing company to help you with some social and some Facebook stuff, feel free to reach out. We've been very, very active on social, and a lot of the real estate investors are on Facebook, number 1, LinkedIn, number 2, Instagram, number 3, and then obviously other social platforms as well. But those are probably the 3 most important ones. So if you need help or you need any advice related to social media marketing or digital marketing for your real estate business, real estate agent, real estate investor, any local small business, reach out. Happy to help with that. What else we got while we're live, Chris? Anything?
I don't know if I have anything else to cover really today. Meetup's not for a couple weeks, but we're going to have a cool new format coming out. So we will be announcing that and putting out some information about how to get involved with our meetup. And this month's meeting should be pretty cool. So I'm excited about that.
August 16th meetup group. What I will do is comment on here just so you guys all have the meetup group, hardmoneybankers.com meetup group. Put up that live. So any questions that you have along the way this week, if you want us to answer them on next week's show, feel free to comment below and we will answer any questions that you have, and we'll do our thing. And don't forget, tomorrow, Wednesday, we do our HMB podcast live in our office as well, and we usually stream that as well. So check that out. As always, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this. And since I got kicked offline, I can't put I got to put our closing logo back on. There it is. Okay. Put that up there and do our thing. All right, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And until next time.
See you next time.
Later.